In this tutorial, we're going to be looking at conditional statements in Turing. And as an example, the first thing I'm going to do is illustrate what do I mean by a conditional statement. So let me start with some simple arithmetic in Turing. I'm going to put 1 plus 1 and 1 plus 2. So the put statement is just used for output. Simple arithmetic, 1 plus 1, 1 plus 2. We might use brackets to make this a little bit clearer to show that I'm outputting the operation 1 plus 1 and the operation 1 plus 2. And if I run that, I end up with the result of 2 and 3, which are the obvious answers to those simple arithmetic problems. Now let me put something a little bit more interesting. 1 equals 1, 1 equals 2. Now, you might confuse this with the Turing assignment operator, which sets a value equal to another, but that looks like this, colon equals. So it's not that. We're not setting these two things equal to each other. So when I run this, what result do I get? I get true for the first one, and I get false for the second one. The first one, 1 equals 1, is true, and if we think about that, that is a true statement. The second one, 1 equals 2, is false. And that's also, yeah, okay, that's a false statement. 1 is not the same as 2. So what we've run into now, these are called Boolean expressions. I'm basically asking the question, is the number 1, is the item on the left side, the same as the item on the right side? And in this case, the answer to that is true. So a Boolean expression compares two things to each other, and the result is going to be either true or false. And that introduces the idea of the comparison or Boolean operators. The first one that I'm introducing here, and the simplest, is the simple equal sign. There are other Boolean operators. So in addition to equals, what if I were to ask this question? 1 less than 2. Is the number 1 smaller than the number 2? And if I run that, the answer to that one, yeah, that's true. 1 is less than 2. What if I did something like this? Put 1, and I flip around that sign, 1 greater than 2. Is the number 1 greater than the number 2? And the answer to that should be false. So what do I have so far? I have the equal operator. I have the less than operator. I have the greater than operator. So let's go to the next step. If I want to look at another comparison, I want to use one that's similar to the less than operator, but I actually want to compare, and let me go ahead and put in, what if I put in 2 less than 2? So 1 is equal to 1. That's true. 1 is less than 2. That's true. What about 2? Is 2 less than 2? And the answer to that is false. The reason being the number 2 is the same as the number 2, but it's not smaller than. So if I run that, you'll see the third and fourth result are false. And in particular, we were looking at the third result here. That's false. But there is another operator that gives me a slightly broader interpretation, and that is the less than or equal to. So this is less than or equal to operator, and it checks both less than and it checks equal to at the same time. And if either of those are true, then this is going to overall be true. So less than or equal to. And as you might imagine, there is also a greater than or equal to operator. So let me now, just to change this up, I'm going to put a 3 and a 3 here. Greater than or equal to. So is the number 3, let's start off with, is 3 greater than 3? And the answer to that is no. 3 is equal to 3, but it's not bigger than itself. So when I run that, and we're focusing on the last result here, it's false. 3 is not greater than 3. But if I put equal to there, then 3 greater than or equal to 3, yes, that's going to be true. I'm going to run that, and sure enough, that one is true. Okay, so here we have a variety of these are the Boolean operators, equals, less than, less than or equal, greater than or equal. And all of these operators can be used with variables just as easily as they can with numbers. And that's generally the more useful way to make use of them. So just to finish off our little example here, I'm going to create some variables. So var x, y, and z, which are integers. And I will set x equal to 1, y equal to 2, and z equal to 3. And for now, I haven't done anything with those variables, so none of my results have changed. But now it gets a little more interesting. We put things like, is x equal to y? Or is x less than z? Is y less than or equal to z? Is z greater than x? Is y greater than or equal to x? Actually, there's an interesting one. I'm even going to take that a little further. How about, is y greater than or equal to 3x? And you can get much more sophisticated and much more complicated in your dealings with these things. So we take a look, just to wrap things up. Is x equal to y? Is the number 1 equal to the number 2? Nope, false. Is x, actually, let's go ahead and run this, then we can actually look at the results. So the first result is false. Is x equal to y? Is 1 equal to 2? No. Is x less than z? Is 1 less than 3? Yes, it is. True. Is y less than or equal to z? Is 2 less than or equal to 3? Yes, it is. True. Is z greater than x? Is 3 greater than 1? Yes, it is. True. Is y, which is 2, greater than or equal to 3 times x? Well, 3 times x is 3. 3 times 1 is 3. Is 2 greater than or equal to 3? And the answer to that is false. So this is an introduction to the conditional operators or Boolean operators. You can use them with constants, you can use them with variables, or any combination in between. And they're incredibly useful and a very integral part of any serious computing language.